All right, I want to make sure that the transmission and the engine is in line with the middle of the frame. So I marked it right here, plus the transmission mounts right in the middle. But I got the middle, and then I checked, and I get it lined up right. I am in the middle. So back end's all good. Thing is, this TCI transmission mount puts right in the middle, gives me the right length. I did a little video yesterday, and I did have lots of space. I don't know if you can see the slip back here, but I gotta fold it up a little bit, give me a little more space. See if I get in there with the light. But there's a little lip right here. I need to fold it over in the front. It's not going to affect the transmission cover, but it's going to give me that 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of space I need in between here. I got plenty of clearance. I put a 2x4 in there, so give me 1.5 inches. It's about what I want for clearance. Lifted the engine up, gave me the angle I needed to match, so I can match the rear end and the engine transmission. And what I got to do here looks fairly lined up, but you can see I put some marks here. Right there between those two is the middle with this nut, and this mark right here, if you can see it, the one to the left, is where it needs to be. So I'm 3/16 of an inch off in the front. Need to move it over to that direction. It looks straight here, but you can actually see where it's slightly off. Just the way I got it sitting, so I got to pry it over. Once I pry it over, I can start fitting the motor mounts. But I want to make sure I get the line. It's line. I wish I had a laser light, but I ain't got all these fancy tools. You know, just retired. I got all my old tools I've been collecting for years, and I got a Harbor Freight down the block. But right now I'm just worried about the angle. So I matched the angle, parallel angle between the drive shaft. The drive shaft's going to be slightly off. Right, start all over. I'll cut this piece out. I need to make sure the degree between the tranny shaft and the rear end are the same. It's kind of the same and opposite. They're parallel. And it's about 1.7 dipping down to the front on the drive shaft, and a 1.7 dip down from the tranny, but in parallel. They're both in the same parallel degree. And then the drive shaft, which gives me I got about a 1 degree difference from the two universal knuckles. From the drive shaft to the tranny, it's about 1 degree, and from the rear end to the drive shaft, it's about 1 degree, and I have it facing 1 degree down in the back. It's a 4-link, so the 4-link doesn't move as much as leaf springs. So you want to keep it about 1 degree down, because when you hit the gas, it's going to pull up about 1 degree and almost be parallel. You don't want the drive shaft parallel, or the needle bearings will not spin, and you'll get a premature failure. But you want to get as close to 1 degree difference, so the needle bearings will move when you're driving, and then when you stomp on it, it'll go to 0 or pretty close. So that's my objective. I might be right, might be wrong. It's just the way I do it, the way I read all the things that they say to set it up. So right now I'm focusing on getting this over. I got the height right. I got a nice gap in here, which it used to be touching. I got come over here, see if you can see it. I got some pretty good gaps there. If you look on here, it looks like it's almost 2 inches, 1.5 inches. But the problem is when you go to the other side, because that cylinder heads are further back. Let's see if I can get in here. This side, and I got all the wiring. Hold on a second. You can see is a lot closer. And so I can't move back any further. You know, I could, but I got a good 1 inch. And then my vacuum line hose takes about that much space. I don't want to crimp it. I don't want to get too far back. Now if I come across here, I got about a good, I don't know if you can see that. Flip it around. It's got a good, I'll be cutting that out. Give me a second. Trying to get the angle. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 8. There we go. It's 8 inches from here to there. And I think I'm good. Before I weld it in, I gotta measure the radiator and the electric fan. I think I want 7.5 inches. I got 8. Gives me an extra ½ inch to this point, which further I go up, it's tilted back. So I'll have more space between here and here than I do here. I'll show you. Oh, let's get that level. So you can see that's level. It's got a good ½ inch, 3/4 inch change. So that's where I'm at. Got to move this over 3/16. It should be where I need it.